There's a lot of confusion about eSIMs, what they are, how to use them, and whether or not they're better than physical SIM cards. You're probably on a spectrum from don't know anything about eSIMs to use them all the time. But if you use a smartphone, basically all of you, eSIMs is a topic that you're going to come across sooner or later. So no matter where you are along that spectrum, from not knowing a lot about eSIMs to knowing a lot about eSIMs, there's some things in this video that I think can help you travel smarter. Hi everybody, foXnoMad here, and today I want to help you travel smarter by showing you how you can use eSIMs when you're traveling and what the advantages are. But first, if you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and thanks to eSIM for sponsoring this video. For some context, I've made a few videos about eSIMs and what they are that you can check out down in the description box. I'll have them linked there, but basically the short explanation starts with physical SIM cards. Most of you are already familiar with those, but as a refresher, a SIM card is a physical piece of plastic and gold inserted into a smartphone to identify it to a particular mobile network. You can think of a SIM, which stands for Subscriber Identification Module, as sort of a house key for your phone. A valid SIM card gives you access to AT&T or T-Mobile or whichever mobile network carrier it is tied to. So even though there are mobile networks and signals all around you, the SIM in your phone is a key to a particular network. Physical SIM cards have been pretty standard on phones for at least the past 10 years or so, and newer phones now support eSIMs. And if you happen to have bought a newer iPhone in the US in the last year or so, then you know that they are eSIM only. They don't even have a physical SIM card slot. So what does all of this mean? Let me explain. With a physical SIM card, when you want to switch mobile networks, you need to get another physical SIM card for that other network and swap it out with the one you were using before. Electronic SIMs, or eSIMs, essentially fill the same role as SIM cards, except it's all digital and done right on your phone. When you're at home, you probably don't have to change mobile network providers very often. But a common scenario is you're planning a trip abroad, and you have a few options in that case because your mobile service probably isn't going to work. The first option is to purchase an international roaming plan so you can use your mobile number and data with the same carrier abroad. There are drawbacks to this though, mainly being that it is expensive. The second option is to go without mobile network service at all and just use Wi-Fi where you can find it. You'll be able to check emails and get VoIP messages, but SMS and regular phone calls won't work. And the third option is to get a local SIM card so you can have mobile data at more or less local rates. With physical SIM cards, that means having to get a new SIM card and physically swap them out from your phone. Some of the drawbacks of that option are you have to keep track of your original SIM card so you don't lose it. And number two, you have to go to a shop or kiosk somewhere in a foreign country and register for a local SIM card. It can be a hassle. I mean, you physically have to go to a store, there might be a language barrier, you don't get a lot of options when it comes to data packages, when it comes to pricing. The packages might be for really longer durations than you're going to actually ever need or want to pay for. And if you're hopping from country to country, it can get expensive. So this is where eSIMs come in. And that's because eSIMs basically solve all of those problems. So if you're going to be taking a trip abroad soon and you've got a newer phone that supports eSIMs, here's how you can use them before your next trip. The first step is to download an eSIM app like eSIM. The apps are basically online stores where you can purchase an eSIM for nearly every country in the world. So say you're taking a trip to the United Kingdom, here's what to do. Before you leave to the UK, open up the eSIM and search for United Kingdom. From there, you'll see options for lifetime data, one-time plans, or subscription options. Lifetime data is useful for multiple trips since your data won't expire. That's probably the option you want if you have multiple trips to the same destination coming up, or if you might be going back to a country. Rates and durations in each country vary, but in this example, for a one-time plan, you can get 5 gigabytes of data for $15, but it has a duration of 30 days. So in the example scenario that we've set up, you're going to the UK. Let's say you've got a 2-week trip there, then probably a one-time 30-day plan is best for you since you're going to just use the plan for 2 weeks and then you're going to be going back home. There's also a subscription option for longer trips where you want to have a set amount of data on a monthly basis. Those plans run about 35% less than the equivalent amount of lifetime gigabytes. Make sense so far? Basically, an eSIM is removing the need for you to have to go to a physical store and get a physical SIM card, and it's also removing the need for you to have to purchase an expensive international roaming plan. Once you've chosen the country, plan, and amount of data you want, you check out. You can use eSIM credits, Apple or Google Pay, or a credit card to complete the purchase. Once you've bought your eSIM, you can set it to activate immediately or schedule it for the first day you'll be arriving in, for example, the United Kingdom. Through the BN eSIM app, you install the eSIM with a couple of taps, and after a few minutes of digital magic, you've now got a UK eSIM. In the settings of your phone, you can also rename that eSIM to whatever you want, maybe something more descriptive like United Kingdom, and have it be used alongside with your primary eSIM or physical SIM card. Once you've gotten to this point, I would recommend before you take off for your trip, in the airport for example, to turn off your primary e/SIM connection and activate your abroad eSIM. Again, in this case, we're talking about our UK eSIM. Make sure you go into the settings of your new eSIM and activate data roaming, and once you arrive in the United Kingdom, you'll then have mobile data. All of these steps might not seem intuitive right now, but once you've gone through it one or two times, it's pretty much straightforward after that. To recap, before you go abroad, and as a side note, you don't need to do this before you go abroad. You can do this in the country that you're at. You can do this from anywhere that you have a Wi-Fi connection. I personally just find it easier to do this before I go somewhere. So in this case, let's say before you go on a trip to England, for example, you're going to use the BN eSIM app, search for United Kingdom, purchase your eSIM, whichever one you need, set it to activate on the date that you arrive, turn on data roaming, turn off your primary SIM card if you would like to, and then you arrive in England, and there you've got mobile data. And that's pretty much it. eSIMs are a much easier and less expensive way to stay connected while you're traveling. You can get the amount of data you need, you can purchase more if you happen to run out or run low, and you do all of this through your phone itself. You don't have to go to a physical shop. It's all done right here. It's really useful to have an internet connection when you're out and about because then you can check maps, you can check local restaurant reviews, all of that. And eSIMs aren't just for using abroad, they actually have some good uses for when you're at home too. Let's say you're visiting Alaska, but your regular US mobile provider doesn't have coverage there. You can get an eSIM that works in that state. An eSIM doesn't necessarily mean temporary. Most iPhones don't have a physical SIM card slot, the newer ones like I mentioned, so your regular mobile provider is going to be using an eSIM on this phone for your long-term coverage. But when you're traveling abroad, an eSIM can be a great stopgap to make sure that you don't run out or you don't have periods of time where you're not connected to the internet. eSIMs do everything physical SIM cards do, just right from your phone. An app like BN eSIM puts that online store right on your phone so you can stay connected when you're traveling, all for a lot less money, time, and hassle. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about eSIMs, let me know down in the comments below. I'll also leave a link to the BN eSIM apps down in the description box, right next to the subscribe button. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.